Life, Love, and Lipstick.
Welcome to Life, Love, and Lipstick. It's another episode. You might want to grab a cup of coffee because this is going to be a great show. Hey, Lesley, how are you?
Hi, Tracy. I'm doing okay. I'm feeling like the two of us have been communicating, over text and saying how we both feel a little off these days, and that seems to be the beginning theme of our show today is just this feeling of ugh.
See, that's the funny thing that you just said that. Because there's really no words anymore to describe how we feel. There is only sound effects. Like that is exactly it. We have another 2 weeks added on to our already stay home. So we're up to 6 weeks now. We just finished week 1.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Weather is all over the place.
Weather all over the place, predicting snow. And then, as we know, April brings that, but it just sort of compounds that feeling, and that feeling of being almost lost, the lack of connection, and just trying your best to get out of bed and get rolling each day when you don't have necessarily the same agenda you used to have.
Yep. And today we have a guest joining us for the first segment here on Life, Love, and Lipstick podcast here. I'm very excited because she has some tips for us.
Yes. So we actually put a call out last week on Instagram asking for, any of our viewers, our listeners, if they had tips to help us get through this pandemic together here in Ontario. And sure enough, Juliana came forward and said, you know what, I have some ideas for you guys.
Yeah. So joining us after our break, Juliana Roman, she's going to be joining us with some tips on how to stay grounded, how to connect our mind, body, and soul, which is something that the two of us, we're craving it. We need it. We need to just stick together so we can get through.
Yes.
Let's go to a quick break, and I can't wait till we get back. Welcome back to Life, Love, and Lipstick. It's Tracy Lynn and Lesley Stewart. And as we mentioned, we have a guest today talking about tips about connecting our mind, body, and soul, getting through this pandemic with the additional 2 weeks that have been added. Very excited. Yes. Juliana Roman is here.
Now, Juliana has a strong dance background since she was a young kid, and she has a business now, online fitness, called Dance Physique Fitness. And so you can find her on Instagram, and we'll post all of her information after the show in our show notes. But she has this dance background, and she helps people get fit, even from a beginner onwards. And this is the best thing right now, is working out online. But she also has those mental health tips for us as well, and fitness tips.
We're super excited to have Juliana join us for this segment. Health and wellness, huge thing right now. And I'll tell you, this is winning some days. And Juliana is here to help us get active, stay fit, mind, body, and soul. So welcome, Juliana, to our show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tracy. And thank you both for having me. I'm really excited to be here. So yes, 100% fitness is really important to think about right now, but not even fitness, like you said, Tracy, our mental health as well, because I 100% believe that before COVID, especially in the Western society, we lived in this world where what we're doing for work, what we're doing outside of work, who we talk to on a day-to-day basis kind of ran our life almost a little bit. And now that COVID is kind of pausing that, we're all like, what do we do? How do we manipulate this? What do we figure out? But thankfully, we're pretty smart humans, and we know how to fix things when they need to be fixed. So I have a bunch of tips here, but I'm going to go over 4 that are my top 4 that I've been doing that really has helped my mental health and my fitness throughout COVID.
Perfect. Yeah. And that's the thing. We were asking people to reach out. Last week we posted, we were mentioning earlier that we were needing people just, give us your ideas of what's helping you get through these tough times right now. And with the extension of the basic shutdown of our entire province right now, we need these tips. So where should we start?
Well, the one thing that I have started doing during COVID that has truly helped me is practicing a good morning routine. I work from home now, so I have all the time in the world to wake up early and do a morning routine. But, the one thing that really has helped me is meditation, and not just any meditation, practicing my meditation for gratitude, really appreciating what I have now in my life. Because like I said before, in the Western culture, we kind of run on this busy schedule. And now that we're at this pause, we still tend to think about what we don't have and what's the next best thing. But when I sit down and I really meditate and I appreciate what I have now, it almost reminds me of all the goals that I used to have and how I have achieved them, or I'm doing it. Like I'm doing all these great things. And it really puts into perspective like the important people in my life and what I have going for me. So the first thing I would say is practice your gratitude meditation, because it really helps ease the mind that way. Another one I would say for your fitness goals during this time is we all love setting that really big goal that we want to achieve. But sometimes when we set like huge goals, like let's say I'm going to work out for an hour every day. I'm going to only eat this all day. I'm not going to eat any sugar. I'm cutting out alcohol. And sometimes when we don't reach our own limits, we kind of feel like, oh, I'm not doing it. Like we feel bad almost. Or guilty.
Like you failed.
Yeah, that we failed. So to fix that, I would set little goals each month, little tiny attainable goals that we can reach within a week and within a month. Because the more that we hype each other up and ourselves up, the better we feel mentally and physically. Because we're still working, we're still doing stuff, but you know, big progress still takes that little progress, right? Yeah. So my second one, a lot of the things that I hear now when the gyms are closed, especially, people are so upset. But the first thing I think about is like, you know, no gym, no problem. Like we can figure things out. We're solution people. We know how to do it. So I am honestly the queen of home workouts. You can find it on my Instagram page, a bunch of free home workouts to
You do a great job, by the way.
Thank you. I try to make it easy for everyone to do, but a little bit challenging as well. So, and you can find anything at home to work with if you don't have like bands or weights or anything. But basically, like, don't set yourself that you need to do a big hour and a half workout like you were in the gym. You can get such a good workout in 15 minutes to half an hour. If that's all the time that you have in a day, you can 110% work out for that short amount of time and get the best workout in. Right. And I can show you how to do it. The 3 things that I like to take into mind when I do that is to do 3 different sets of movement, each 3 times through. And by the time you're done it, half an hour's done, you got a great workout in. You know?
And that makes it simple for people to get their head around. As you say, when people have these big goals, these big plans, and oh my gosh, I'm going to have to work out and all these different components to it. But if you say it like that, just 3 types of workout, just 3 individual moves or whatever you want to do for a length of time, repeat how many times. That's like, okay, I could do that. Right.
That's it, right? Make it simple, really make it simple, segment it out. And it doesn't have to be a long workout. If you're really focused in that 20 to 30 minutes, you are doing almost like just as a good workout if you were in the gym. And like I said before, like you can substitute a full water bottle, a milk jug, a heavy, what's it called? Speaker or tight.
Your cat.
Your no. Anything can substitute. So make it safe and make it fun, right? Yeah. We're at home, we got to use what we have. And like I said, we're humans, we're solution people. We can 110% do that. So that's my, another one for the gym too, since we're getting nicer weather out. Well, it was, I don't know, it's supposed to snow tomorrow. So we'll see.
I know, hit and miss, right?
Especially this time of year, but be with nature, go outside, put a podcast on for an hour and just go for a walk.
Yeah.
Do things for you and just be outside, because we're inside so much, but at least we can go for walks. Like after that lockdown notice came on, I was like, can I even go to a trail anymore?
I know. It's like, can we go out on our driveway? Yeah.
And I noticed that too in the last couple of days since that last announcement came out, that it is so huge that people are saying, and I've been hearing it repeatedly, I'm not well this time. I cried. I don't have the joy. I don't have the drive to do anything. So I feel like this one has really pushed herself down. And I'm like, for myself, I'm trying to walk every day. I got my Fitbit on, trying to get my steps in. But I feel like when I set my fitness goals, Juliana, how can I avoid setting them for failure?
I think when we think of the result that we want, and we have that big attainable result, and like you can 100% get that. But when we deal with like a lockdown like this, because I feel like you're not the only one who feels extremely pushed down from this, and it's a good reminder to hear it, because I feel like I'm the only one feeling this way sometimes, and there's still people who are essential workers and working. But with this feeling on us, we kind of just have to take it as, you know what, I'm locked inside until May 20th. There's nothing really much I can do about it. I'm going to make the best of it. I'm going to make the best of it and do a little bit of my goals each day. Try not to think like I have to do all this stuff every day. I have 10 hours of my day free now because I'm at home. Like, things are still the same in your life, in your reality. Take it one step at a time. That's what my advice. One little step at a time.
I think the fresh air, jumping outside for fresh air, even if it's that 10-minute walk, just to get out of your house. It's amazing how much that can elevate your mood, right? And change, your surroundings, and get nature, as you say. Yeah, it's good.
Get in that vitamin D, get that fresh air, and just a different change of pace, change of environment at the same time. It really gets your brain working, and it boosts your endorphins too.
Yes.
The third thing I would like to say is stay hydrated. Drink your water. Remember that you don't have to count your glasses. I myself, like, I have a water here. I try to fill it up every other minute because I'm a pretty big water drinker, but I know what helps some people is having like a big water jug and just trying to get through that throughout the day. But remember to stay hydrated, because when we feel kind of depressed and unmotivated, sometimes dehydration plays a part into that. And drinking water can really rehydrate your body, rehydrate your mind, and help boost your mood as well. And if you're feeling kind of, you don't really like the taste of water, or you need a midday pickup, I always find lemon water. It's an easy solution, but it really boosts your hydration, and it also tastes good too.
I know for myself, I'm so fixated on my pre-pandemic body, because it has changed with, that quarantine 15. And, when they said an extra 2 weeks, I started to worry about, oh my gosh. And you said vitamin D, and I heard that vitamin D actually plays a big role in muscle building.
Yep, it does. It does. It helps I wouldn't say bring that extra protein, but it does help like set the muscle down, and it helps like relax it too, especially after like a workout. Let's say you did a big workout at home and you still want to go for a walk and it's nice and sunny out. Your skin is getting that replenishing it needs from all the work it did, especially from like sweating. The sun can help just even dry you off too.
Yeah, vitamin D is a big one. We've talked about that a little bit on the show before, but there's so much to it, and vitamin D also helps with depression. A lot of people who suffer from depression, often they find have low vitamin D levels. So if you've had your blood checked with your doctor, often you'll see that correlation where, oh my goodness, if you think back, you know what? Yeah, I was feeling pretty depressed in January and February, whatever it may be. Obviously, we're in a pandemic too, but if you have low vitamin D levels, there's a lot of impact on your body there. And we do not need to be feeling depressed right now. There's enough terrible numbers right now with what's happening with the world outside of the COVID numbers, right? So, yeah.
Seasonal depression probably plays a little role in that as well too.
For sure.
I found that this year we've been getting a lot more sun, or like later on in the evening. I don't know if you guys notice, like 8 o'clock, and it's still pretty bright out, like in the summer, which is really nice. So that change has really helped me feel like I can enjoy my whole day and not feel like I'm in bed at 6 p.m.,
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just want to say, apologize. There's random construction all of a sudden happening outside my window, but
we're all working from home. So there's either random kids, toilets flushing, banging. Yeah,
it's okay. I just had to message my son a few minutes ago.
Yeah, so if you see our faces doing one of these, that just means that someone's walked in. Juliana, now I do follow you on Instagram, and I love that you put these little teasers out to help motivate us, because sometimes we just need that. Do you also work with beginners as well? Because like, even though I feel like I was a fit and lean person, I'm now back to beginner stage. So I feel a little intimidated about getting back into the fitness world. So do you have any tips for someone who's listening or watching and they're like, they want to, but they're not sure?
Oh, 100%. I actually love working with beginners because I feel like a lot of the mindset of a beginner I can like change for the positive and so much potential. So it's my favorite thing to work with a beginner in fitness. You can 100% like change your lifestyle when you want to get back into fitness. And like I said in the beginning, like setting those little goals little by little. But my favorite feeling is when I work with a client that's starting in fitness and we set those little goals and I help them accomplish them. And we get to the end of the month where they can do like a front lunge without feeling wobbly. They can up their weights and they can do squats again, or they're trying out this new movement and they're like, wow, like I can get my legs so much higher. Like just those little tiny goals and seeing how much it fills their life and makes them feel better is so good on my end. But also like it helps them so much, like just with everyday life, with you know, walking, getting up in the morning, stretching, just feeling less aches and pains. So it's so much fun working with a beginner. And it's, I would say COVID is probably a really good time to get back into that fitness regime, because now more than ever, we have that time to take that time for ourselves and work on ourselves little by little to get to the goals and results that we want to see. So I know it kind of is, it can be intimidating when you want to start fitness, and there's so much influence and stuff around us that we see that we're like, oh, should I do this? Should I be wearing this? Should I be doing this kind of program? At the end of the day, all our bodies are so unique and different that you need to focus on yourself the way that works for you. Yeah. Because like, my workout routine might not be the best for you, but eventually it could be, you know, starting out, like it might not be right now, but you can 110% get to that level with small little goals, work, dedication, and patience.
I love that you said to start your day with gratitude, because it is something that we have definitely taken advantage of, or we have totally forgotten about during this pandemic. Juliana, we want to say thank you so much for joining us this morning and all your tips on helping us get motivated when it comes to our mental health and our fitness, mind, body, and soul. Guys, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Life, Love, and Lipstick. Well, that was such a great conversation that we had with Juliana. Great tips.
We need as many of those tips as we can these days. Any little idea, even if you pull one idea from somebody's conversation that can help you get through the day right now and feel a little bit more, find some level of happiness or joy, is great.
Finding that joy. Now, this weekend, I found joy in cooking. I love cooking. But you know what I'm obsessed with right now? The plating of what I'm cooking. And recipe books. So this recipe book is 100 recipes every woman should know. And they're just very simple. And I mean, it's funny. I can cook gourmet. The only thing I can't cook very well is craft dinner.
Go figure.
Yes.
Right?
But it's all about the plating right now. I'm obsessed with it. It's getting me through.
You know what, though? It's important. We all know you notice the difference in if you're in a restaurant and you get served some slop on a plate versus a chef who has taken all the time in the world to make the presentation. That's what feeds. It's the, you know, gets the palate going.
Yes. And I made that engagement chicken and I placed it on my white tray and I kept those roasted lemons in it. I was so proud of myself.
Yeah.
And you're right. How we plate it is how we connect with it. So if you're putting ketchup, drizzle the ketchup in like a nice little shape and then put nuggets on top.
Right.
Whatever gets us through. That's where I'm finding my joy. I'm doing a work week hustle challenge with some people on the Fitbit.
Good. Okay, good.
Yeah. And it started on Monday, but I got a little eager, did a lot of steps on Sunday, went on a nice walk because the weather was nice.
Yes.
And like, I'm obsessed over it. So I'm like, if this is the one thing that will get me moving or get me out of the funk, then I'm going to try to do it.
I think the connecting with even one person or a group of people for fitness is really great because it does hold you accountable, right? It gets you out of bed in the morning. We've always heard that, but particularly in this time right now where, you know, even if the weather's nice, you kind of just don't even feel like getting up and going. You can sit around on the couch and then once you're sitting, you start eating bad food and snacking, right? So you got to get rolling. So if you have somebody that's saying, hey, let's go, we're going to go for a walk. I know my brother and his best friend lives in London, Ontario. So they have a distance between them. So that's when, guys don't normally talk on the phone very much from my understanding, and my brother doesn't like it, but that's when they connect. They both go on walks and they talk on the phone together. Why not?
I mean, that's pretty much what we have. We've heard the restrictions. I mean, they've opened up the parks though for the kids, which is great.
Yes.
Because I heard someone say, I had to go to the dog park to let my kids run around. I mean, they have a dog, but still, I mean, the thought of that, the only way to have little kids burn off energy. So I'm glad that they opened up the parks, glad that the police they're not going to be stopping us and asking what we're doing.
They didn't want to. I'm glad they spoke up and said, no, we're not. My dad's a retired police officer. And I said, would you want to do that? And he said, absolutely not. No. Nobody wants to do that. We're all just human beings trying to get by here.
Yes. So my obsession with plating food.
Yes.
I'll continue to do that.
Yes.
I'm going to start this whole not adding extra sugar to my day.
Good.
Because I know later this week we have an interview with somebody.
Yes.
Talking about sugar.
Yes.
And sugar proofing and how it affects us. And I think that if I don't have the cookie for breakfast,
right,
which I've talked about multiple times before, and I have no shame admitting that I did have mini eggs the other day.
Yeah, mini eggs with your coffee.
Yeah. I mean, but I figure if I can eliminate that, then I will have a clearer mind and I'll feel like getting up and doing something, right? Yeah. Because, as I said, talking with Juliana, I am fixated on what I used to look like.
Yes, of course.
And not that I really have changed too much, but when you
haven't.
But when you stop working out and you get a little more squish than lean.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed over it, right? So
yeah. Well, the muscle starts to deplete within like 2 weeks, right? If you're not using it, it atrophies, right? So yeah, we have to use it. So that's why we start to feel a little bit more doughy and not as like buff.
Yeah. And then you bring in sweatpants, which means they just expand with you. So you really don't know what's going on.
No, you don't until you put on that pair of jeans that are more a little bit. And now they're starting to make jeans stretchy in 18 different ways. So the jeans aren't even holding you accountable as much as they used to.
And I wore my loungewear last week. I've been obsessed with that.
Yeah.
But we talk about the pandemic, but we have an extra 2 weeks now. So no excuses.
Mm-hmm.
Now's the time to put your goals in action, cleaning, getting yourself detoxed mentally, maybe, physically.
Yes.
But, speaking of the pandemic, are you ready for this? Sex toys. The sales in sex toys has skyrocketed over the last year.
I guess people have more time at home more time on their hands.
Yes. And we're hearing about it more in advertising, more on the radio, more on TV or on podcasts, or even an ad that comes up on social media.
I know, but the ads, I've never really seen ads for them before. And now it's just like on regular TV.
To talk about self-pleasure with toys.
I kind of saw this commercial one time and I looked and I was looking to see if my son was paying attention, but the way they flash it across the screen, it's pretty discreet, but at the end, it's kind of like a ta-da, this is what you can buy.
I heard a commercial and they were talking about this and I didn't quite get it, what it was and what they were talking about until the end, because I think it starts off with, you've been spending a lot of time at home lately. Well, no kidding. We're in a pandemic. We're told to stay home. But then at the end, it's delivery will be discreet. So nobody's going to know. So it's not like an Amazon package where when you get that envelope or that box, you just know what it is. This, I guess, will be discreet. I don't know. Interesting though.
It's discreet until your kid opens it up by accident.
Oops, I left that box out.
Like my son that gets excited about shipments in mail sometimes. That would not be good.
No, but there's ways to, mommy got a new weight. We talked about.
Oh, yeah, okay. So do people remember the shaker weights? There was shake weights. It was called the shake weight, and it's like this giant weight, and you just shake.
It just shakes, and it's supposed to help with your biceps and your triceps.
Yeah, it like tones your arms.
Yes, it goes right there with the Thigh Master.
Right, you could do the Thigh Master at the same time.
Yes, I still have my Thigh Master. Just bounce on my ball with my Thigh Master. Right, there's my self-pleasure.
Who needs any kind of other toys, and you got that going on?
Yeah. Just like we learned previously about using stuff around the house.
Yes.
To help you work out. why not wrap around your house to make you happy? So, I mean, the stats on that, absolutely, wow. Like I was really shocked because people are being more open about it. People are at home. Some people are isolated by themselves. A lot of relationships taking a toll. And we've talked about that multiple times.
Yes.
Where you're not feeling you're sexy, you're not feeling the connection with your partner because we are meant to have space and time away from each other, which we learned last week.
Yeah, exactly. Well, remember Dr. Shamalakuru was mentioning, and we had great feedback from our listeners and viewers about that, where if you're not feeling it up in your head and you're not feeling it overall, you just can't give that. You can't give of yourself, right? It's just, you need to feel sexy too first.
Yeah. And we're still trying to find the G-spot.
Oh, yeah. There's that story.
Yeah. It's like a
Last
unicorn.
episode.
Yeah. It's almost like a unicorn. We don't know if it actually even existed in the first place, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I think some people could maybe claim that it did. I don't know.
It was the last pandemic now.
Well, you would think that, okay, so we talk about, if you go back to war times, post-war, World War II, and and our current day baby boomers, of course, they were the babies of post-war. And, but it was the separation and then people coming back together, making babies. So at one point I thought, well, maybe more babies will come out of the pandemic, but it's actually going the other way where people aren't having sex.
Well, they predicted that we were going to have a huge baby boom around Christmas time. But it turns out we didn't.
People are like, back off.
Yeah, nobody wants to have sex.
Oh,
it's more so couples, right? I'm not saying somebody who maybe is by themselves and they can't be with somebody, but couples are having an issue. I mean, I totally get it because, as I said, your things have changed in the last year. You're not feeling your groove. I'm feeling a little off just because, like I said, hormones. There's a lot of stuff that's come into play for this pandemic.
Yes.
And it's been really hard. So a lot of stats have come out in this pandemic, which they're saying that your sex life is going to be very different once we get out of this pandemic. It's in some interesting stuff. Now, I know this is going to take us a little bit. So before we have to go to break, I want to tell you that 42% say that they are more likely to ask a potential partner about their health before having sex. Right?
Can you imagine?
All of a sudden there's a pandemic and now you want to know if they're healthy or not? Like, where's your Carfax? Like I always said, people should come with a Carfax form.
They should.
Or we post their picture on social media like a lost dog. And if nobody claims that person within 24 hours, we're good to go. They're not with anybody.
But it's kind of risky. But I mean, people are putting themselves at risk when they just meet someone and do the one night stand thing, which I personally don't understand, but I know some people do it. But I mean, you have no idea who this person's been with.
And STD rates are so rampant. Well, they were. I mean, last year there was a stat that came out. They were so rampant that they were antibiotic resistant. Yes.
I heard that was even high in older people too.
In senior homes.
Yes, in senior homes. Yes, they were spreading it amongst themselves.
God, they were having a lot of fun in those homes. I guess that's all you have, right?
Well, that's, I mean, live until you die, right? Like, let's, right? Like, they're still vital human beings. I get it, but it's just the safety thing.
All the power to them. And 13% fear dating after this. They fear finding somebody who wants to commit, because we've had this time where either you have come out of a committed relationship and you don't want that anymore, and people are just worried about having to stay with that same person for the rest of their life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I could see that. And people who didn't have anybody during this time now want to make sure that they get a really good person, or as you say, people who've broken up with somebody have said, okay, look, I'm not just going to pick some random, I'm going to really make sure I get a good person if I'm going to be in lockdown ever again with this person.
Well, yeah. And there's the thing, if we have to go through another lockdown, you want to make sure this person can cook, clean, and please.
That's on your list, Tracy.
Right? I mean, it's true. I mean, you want to be with somebody, let alone not even in a pandemic, that does nothing, can't even stimulate you on any aspect of our body?
I have heard of a lot of, and I know girls play video games too.
Yes.
But I know that guys play more, I think more frequently. I think any guy would admit that. Guys who are into video games have really gotten back into video games. And it doesn't matter if they're 20 or if they're 50, or they are reverting back to video game time and sitting on the couch for hours upon end. Because we know you can get lost in Netflix. You can also get lost in playing Fortnite or all those other ones out there.
And you would think that playing with those buttons on that joystick or whatever they're called, they would be better at pleasing you, but it just seems like they just get so fixated on the video game.
No, they've been sucked into the vortex. No.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Well, we will be going to a quick break because Lesley, I have some more stats for you.
Okay.
I think that you're going to think the same thing. When I read this, I was like, what? Like, this pandemic has totally changed the way that we think. Who knows what's going to happen when we get out of it, but
yeah. Will we recover?
Will we recover? And I think finding a partner and asking about their background when it comes to their health will be the last thing when we get back. Stay tuned, guys. Welcome back to Life, Love, and Lipstick with Lesley Stewart and myself, Tracy Lynn. So let's continue our conversation about the stats about what post-pandemic sex life is going to be like. Well, 51% are more likely to use a condom. Now, this is a survey out of 2,000 people. And 51% now say that with the pandemic, they want to use a condom.
I don't understand all the rationality behind that and why people are all of a sudden saying, hey, I'm going to be a little safer.
Yeah. Because we said 42% of them are more likely to ask their partner about their health before getting intimate with them.
Right. So like why I think maybe I would be asking more is if you've had coronavirus, if you've, if you have any symptoms, have you gotten over it? Did you get vaccinated?
What skills have you learned during this pandemic?
Sure. Right. Yeah. Like what was your year like? What did you do?
What's your favorite color and what's your name? Interesting stats. I don't know. This is like a huge, this was a big survey. As I said, it is on one of my favorite magazine sites, and 52% want a committed relationship. I know we touched on that a little bit earlier, but interesting that they really feel that now they want to commit because this is what that pandemic has brought out in them.
Well, hopefully people and just less infidelity. I heard. So,
well, yes, that's the next stat. Now, this is the one that okay. Wow. You know what? It's too bad that it's taken a pandemic. I don't know why, but 68% think that they're less likely to cheat.
I don't get it. I don't get it, and I don't believe it.
I don't believe it either.
A cheater's a cheater.
Yes. And if you're going to cheat, you're going to cheat and not be like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to cheat because, after this pandemic, I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Female, come on.
I don't believe it, honestly. I mean, you know what? Maybe they'll take a little bit of a break from it, but they'll just get back into their ways, as they say. A tiger doesn't change his stripes.
Yeah. So I thought, interesting stat when I was reading this: 68% think. Now this is the wording. Okay, think that they are less likely to cheat. As we said, we're supposed to be staying at home. We weren't supposed to go around people that you didn't know. You had to have your bubble, your circle.
Right.
And cheating has gone up. It has skyrocketed. It's almost like the sex toy industry. It just took a huge leap as far as sales, where they were emotionally cheating, maybe not so much physically, but that stat is actually incredible as well. But like emotionally being connected.
Right. Well, that, we had that conversation about J-Lo and A-Rod last week, and the whole, where did J-Lo's engagement ring go and what would we do? But one thing that, we found out in the meantime, you updated me on this, Tracy, was that A-Rod had been emotionally cheating. As far as we know, it was emotionally, at least, with another female. I mean, we don't know the half of it, but that was kind of part of the, the nail in the coffin.
She was taking her power back. I believe that she wanted to take her power back because he made her look so dumb.
Yeah.
And I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but he was just making her look dumb as to the public, because we all knew what he was like. We had his buddy there, Jose Canseco, that was always tweeting, hey,
Mhm.
scum, like, don't go with him.
Yeah.
He does this, and she didn't want to see it. And we did do a post on Instagram. So if you guys aren't already, follow us on Instagram this weekend saying, okay, well, she has not as of yet given back her rings. Should she give her ring back? I posted it on my social. You posted it on yours. We posted it on ours. And woo, the fire that was lit over rings, because we talked about last week about our own rings.
Yep.
A lot of people saying, A-Rod, he's a narcissist. I think it's a token of appreciation for putting up with him. So keep your ring, girl.
That seemed to be the common one, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And people were saying it was a gift. And another one says happily divorced, sold them, not keeping them for my kids, buying new items for myself.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that they would keep them for their kids. Now, those were, again, more people that were married and had children with these people, this person, obviously. But I think the stance seemed to be, if you were engaged and it was given, as a, hey, this is, we're about to go into a deal, a contract. But then there never was a contract, then he gets to have the rings back.
Yes. But
because they never sealed the deal. And then some people are like, no way, it was a gift, keep it.
Yeah. And I think that the consensus pretty much was that she should keep it. And some people were, joking around that she likes to collect wedding rings. But I think that of all the guys that she has been with, he's been the most, he takes the prize for the most narcissistic male ever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I agree. And you know what I think the saddest part of all of this is the children, because for 4 years, those kids grew together and they almost looked like they were siblings. They looked like they all came from them together. And that broke my heart. And I kept watching video and of them all hanging out together. And apparently that's why they stayed together a little bit longer, was to try to figure out, like, the kids were just having a terrible time having to, not only they're breaking up, now the kids are breaking up.
Yes, because they said that they wanted to keep the privacy, which we get the privacy of people during such thing, because it's hard. I mean, especially when you are in a public relationship or you have a public job, everybody seems to know everything. And as soon as you take your ring off, or one day you're not wearing your ring for whatever reason, sometimes you just take it off and you don't put it back on.
They notice right away.
Right. But then when you don't wear your ring for a long time, it's always, oh, what did you do? What's going on? You can't hide things, or you wear the ring just because you just don't want to answer questions.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that's very, very true. And I mean, they're, as you say, they're under public scrutiny all the time, both of them. And I think that this conversation, this phone calls, whatever he had with this other female, she's a country singer. I think she has her own show. She may be one of many, but that does
allegations are saying there's been multiple.
Right. Well, and as you say, that's embarrassing for J-Lo. I mean, she's a strong, beautiful woman. And I mean, nobody should have to feel like that. Right.
But he was trying to be a little bit of the victim, because he did post on social. He did like a pan of a table, which had a bunch of pictures and some of her stuff on it. And there was a song in the background. And people were like, oh, okay, well, what's going on? Does he want to work at it? And she's just like, no. So I felt like he kind of was trying to do damage control before they even made the whole announcement. Right?
Yeah.
Because he's just been known to be that guy.
That's a shame. I was really hoping things were going to work out for those two, but
part of me was hoping that they would show us that, hey, no matter what, you can overcome it and you can be strong and life is good. But then I kind of pegged it from the beginning that,
well, because we don't know the backstory either. I mean, a lot of times, right, we're just seeing the one that's been exposed, but we don't know if it's been ongoing and this is the breaking point, right?
Yeah. And I feel like she was actually so in love with him.
I felt that too.
Right? You look at her social media compared to his.
Yeah.
He was more about glamorizing all the material stuff. And she was always posting them singing or kissing, like just always being a family and so in love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always talked about like how in love she was. And then now all of a sudden it's like,
Well, things are probably looking pretty good, especially when you see things working out for your children. I think when you're, in separation and divorce, I mean, kids come first, right? And when you obviously, if you fall in love with somebody, then you're like, wait a minute, well, you know what? I come as a package deal. And, then you're like, okay, my kids or my child needs to be like really happy here too. It's not just about my happiness.
Right.
So she found that, and now it's been ripped apart on her.
Now, do you think it's going to take her a long time to get back on that dating scene? Because if you look at Kanye West and Kim Kardashian,
Whoa,
she's instantly back on the scene. She's got her rebound body, or we're not rebound. What's the word that I'm looking for? Her revenge body.
Revenge, yeah.
Right? Because that's another big thing. I wonder
Yes.
how long it's going to take for the two of them to get past this.
I don't know. Honestly, it is amazing how quickly people, again, I think their relationship was, disintegrating for a very long time. So by the time they kind of called it quits, it was way over.
Yeah. Well, they do say the first one to move on, especially quickly, is usually the one that had been planning it for a while.
Sure.
Right?
Yep. Yep.
Yep. And all of a sudden they have somebody with them, or it's like, oh, wow.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
Kind of get that part. So interesting stats, great feedback when it comes to our post, because as we said, a lot of people are rooting for J-Lo. They're saying that she should keep the ring. It was a gift. There were a few people that said she should give it back though.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, I don't know. I think in their situation, she should keep it. But I think generally, if people are engaged and they don't follow through with it, then I think maybe you just give it back. But I think in their situation, and they both have millions of dollars. I mean, I know it was 1.8 million, but she really doesn't really care. It's just more, I mean, maybe she doesn't care and she just wants to give it back or just go and sell it or something.
Yeah, no, I hope she does keep it.
Yeah.
And I hope one day J-Lo does, instead of trash the dress, because she hasn't been married yet to him, so she doesn't have the dress. Well, as far as we know, she does not have a dress, but they did plan 2 weddings. That she does a photo shoot on the top of a magazine with all her rings.
Right.
But now that would be awesome. All her rings that she has had over the years.
Do you think she kept them all then?
I don't assume so. Wow. I don't know. I don't even know why she broke up with a lot of the guys that she was dating. Yeah. This has been probably the most publicized, or the longest one that she has been with.
Yeah, that's why I thought things were going to work out.
Yeah.
I never understood the Mark Anthony thing. So whatever.
Anyways, I have a feeling we'll be talking about this for quite a while, because they seem to be the ones that are going to be making the headline, and they seem to really have sparked an interest with our listeners and our viewers.
So we'll have more. We'll throw out there for you guys. We love hearing from you.
Yeah, it was really good, and we really enjoyed that. What a great show. Honestly, sometimes we can't plan this, but this conversation always flows. So that's always good. Yeah. So we did talk about getting through this pandemic. I feel a little bit better today after our conversation, because as I said, I was just feeling so Remember, there's no words, there's only sound effects.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. I think it's definitely been hard. I think if you get your body moving and you choose to eat better foods, I think that's where you end up feeling better. Sitting around and eating bad food, it's not good.
I'm nervous about the whole sugar thing. And I know we're talking about this later in the week. So if you want to catch up on any of our shows with our guests, pop over to our Instagram page. But I am so nervous that I have pretty much committed to this no sugar thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Are you going to, I know that we're talking with this doctor. He has a 7-day challenge where it's basically cut out sugar completely. And then he has like a 28-day sort of wean yourself off. What kind of person are you?
Well, as somebody is flushing the toilet, upstairs, because I am hiding in my basement, because we have kids learning from school today and for the next little bit. So I got to find creative ways to get a soundproof room. I'm going to go with the 7-day.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I just need to rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'll find an excuse to not continue with it.
Yeah, I think for me with health and fitness goals, I'm more of a like go for it, completely go, and just that way I feel like an instant gratification.
Yeah.
If I go slowly at it, for some people that's perfect, but if I
Yeah.
go slowly at it, I never really get there. I need to like, let's go. Like, you know, today I'm going to wake up, I've got my greens, my smoothie, my lemon water, and I'm rolling, you know. If I don't do that, then you
I
sneak
think
in
I
the
need a
chocolate.
checklist. I need to wake up and see my checklist and like
Yes.
physically see it so I can say, okay, today I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I know I have to get more steps in today because one, I'm very competitive and I want to win, but then I have all good intentions of getting out there and walking, but I will find 1,000 things that would distract me.
Right. I know. I'm agree.
Right.
Yep.
Yep. So that's my mood, but I'm going to try. And I'm going to take some of Juliana's tips into consideration as well.
Yes.
Because that was really good. So
yeah. Thanks to Juliana for coming on the show today and giving us some tips. And we again welcome people to come on to send us messages to come on the show, give us their mental health and wellness tips as well, because we all can use them right now. We're in this together for a very, very long time.
yes. So as we said, the extended 2 minutes, or sorry, the extended 2 weeks. I wish it was only 2 minutes. The extended 2 weeks. Yeah, it kind of has us all over the place, but that's okay. That is why we are here. This is why we are doing our podcast. So if you'd like to reach out because you have any questions or tips, ideas, or advice for us or anyone out there, please get a hold of us. Stop by our Instagram page to get caught up on all podcasts. Well, Lesley, I think it's time for me to get moving. I got to get my steps in.
I know I need to get a workout in today too. And we'll feel so much better for it. So hang in there, Trace.
We will get through this and we will see you guys next week.
Life, love, and lipstick.